Hello, welcome to another tank review. Right now I'll be reviewing the VK45 Ausf B on the German heavy line to the mouse. It's a tier 9 tank. So first let's just look at the basic statistics about this tank on the right over here. So it has 1950 hit points, which is great, tied for second most at tier 9, right behind the Tortoise at 2000. Its weight is 79 tons. That's my weight, but it can be up to 80.8 tons, so that is very good, but it is also very heavy. I also remember I have 3 equipment on it, so that also adds to the weight. The engine power is horrendous, 840. That's just, it's not good enough for 79 tons. It's really just not. The acceleration on this tank is not good at all. Your speed limit is 30, but I guarantee you will not be going 30. You will be going around 20 usually. And going up hills is just horrible. You'll be going around 8 to 9 area right there. The traverse speed is 20. It's not that good, but like I said, 840 engine power, 79 tons just doesn't go good together. Now let's look at the main thing about this tank. It's armor. 200 whole armor on the upper glacis, and now during the next update, 9.2, the lower glacis is also very strong at 200 millimeters. The upper glacis, all of this 200 millimeters is super powerful. I mean, like, the only thing that'll be able to penetrate you is mostly tier 10 TDs, and sometimes they'll be having to use gold shells too. Just even a little bit of a slight angle like this, that angle right there, and everything will be bouncing off unless they hit this area right here, which will still bounce shots, but usually it will not, and that area right there, which is very small. Only the most precise guns will be able to hit there. So I suggest angling your armor like this, making the 100 millimeters very powerful right here on the sides, and making this 200 millimeters pretty much impenetrable. The lower glacis is also put at a nice angle, and when you angle it, it will be even stronger, of course. Now the turret, 252 millimeters. It's very thick, but it has absolutely no angle to it. Well, actually, maybe a slight angle right there, but still, any tanks with around 250 penetration and above will be able to penetrate it. So I suggest wiggling your turret so it might hit your gun manlet. But the main weakness on this tank is the upper turret, the roof. Only 60 millimeter stick, put at a great angle, but only 60 millimeter stick. Anything what I say 200 millimeters and up will be able to penetrate it. Putting a slight angle does help a little bit, but just try to move around forward and backwards so they will probably miss that area. That's what I got. That's what I do sometimes, and it works. So then we look at the gun. Let's get to the gun statistics right here. It's a 128 millimeter gun, 3.82 rate of fire, which will get better with the gun rammer and ventilation, along with increasing the percentage of your crew, along with giving them brother in arms, stuff like that. It will all boost up your rate of fire, which I suggest you do. The penetration is 246, which is adequate, though not that high for a tier 9 tank. It is adequate, and putting in premium shells to be 311, which will pretty much penetrate anything, but that is ACPR, which does lose its penetration over distance. The average damage is great, the highest of the tier at 490, well, highest for heavy, 490 damage. And then dispersion is 0.38, which is not great at all. It's not good. The mouse, it does get better though, so you know. And the 2.9 aiming time is not good either. So. And then the turret traverse speed is horrendous. Light tanks and medium tanks will go around you very easily, so always have support. And 400 view range and 710 view range, all in the good areas there. So now we're gonna compare this tank to another tank. We'll compare it to the Russian and the American of its tier. So let's go to the M103. Okay, so let's see its basic statistics, like its armor, which don't change. So its whole armor is 203, around the same area as the VK, but its side armor is nowhere near it, being 44. The VK's is twice and a little bit more than that. Then the turret armor is 254. Let's see, is it the same over here? Yeah, 254 millimeters. That's 2 millimeters more than the VK, and it is put at an angle. But it does have a good weakness right here. Look at the mouse right there. The cupola, which is most American heavies' weaknesses, that's big weakness right there. But then the lower glacis is nowhere near as being strong as the VK, so that's another thing. But the VK was just upgraded, so no, that wasn't always like that. Then there's the gun. a 120mm caliber, 8mm less, 5.36 rate of fire. That's 2 better than the VK. The penetration is 258. The VK was 246, so 12 more. And the premium shells are a lot more, 29 I believe more. But then there's the damage, which is 400, which is 90 less. So, I mean, like, you're going for damage or rate of fire and penetration. Then the dispersion is 0.37, which is a little bit better than the VK, and has quite better aiming time too, 0.6 seconds, which is significant. So that's compared to the M103. So where it stands is the M103 has a faster shooting shell. It is a faster tank. It does have as good all-around armor though, and it is not as good as outputting damage in one hit by 90 points. So now let's look at its Russian counterpart. We'll look at a tank that's more like the VK. The ST1 focuses more on armor. So first let's just look at its whole armor. 140 millimeters. That's 60 less than the VK. But I think that its slope gives it a rather good amount there. But it also has that major weakness right there in the middle. So there's one weakness already. Its side armor is 140, which is better than the VK's by 40, and it is put at a slight angle. And it is not as long as the VK's either. So, you know, you have better side armor, better side scraping ability. But it is not a rear mounted turret, so you lose some stuff. Then the turret armor, let's go to the upgraded turret, is 250. That's 2 less than the VK's, but the VK is not sloped at all, while this one does have a nice slope to it. It does have a few commander hatches and stuff on the top though, while the VK only has one. Now let's look at the gun. A 122 caliber, like most Russian guns, 258 penetration, which is better. It also has 1 better rate of fire, but it does lose 50 damage. So every time the German tank is going to have the better damage, but the penetration went up as well. And this one has the same dispersion at 100 millimeters, and it has horrible aiming time, 3.4 seconds. So it's another thing. So as you can see, the VK, it's meant for its armor and its big gun, the 128. It is not meant for speed, and it is not meant for good rate of fire like the M103. I believe this tank is one of the best tier 9s, especially that it was buffed in 9.2 now. You barely have to angle now. Now it's good, even just go straight on, because the lower glacis is very powerful. But if you wanted to, this is the best angle, I think, actually. It makes the 100 millimeters very powerful, and the 200 basically impenetrable. So the VK is a great tank. It leads to the mouse. It's a very slow tree line, but a very powerful tree line. Tech tree line, yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Now let's just look at my service record and how it fares with me. I played 239 battles. My victory was 50% last battle, but it went to 49. So let's look at my record score. My max experience is basically 2,000, which is quite good, and my maximum damage is 5,731. This is a very fun tank for me to play. A lot better than its predecessor, the VK45 Ausf. But this one is a significant change on playstyle, since the other one focuses more on mobility. This is a great tank. I think you should get it. It is a rather unforgiving tree line. You gotta know what you're doing, but great tank. Thank you for watching.